Nomás recuerdo que fui a dejar a mi hija a la escuela en un Provo. Eran como las 7:30. Y después de dejarla, prendí la tele y empecé a ver lo que estaba sucediendo y me impresionó mucho, no lo podía creer. Pero creo después todo el mundo empezó a comentar lo que estaba pasando y ya pues obviamente ya lo creí. Y siempre, esta fecha siempre recuerdo y creo que nunca se me va a olvidar.
On 9/11, I was a junior in high school. I remember getting ready for the morning, and I heard the first plane crash on the news. I remember being really sad and completely taken aback, and it was a very solemn feeling I had for the rest of the day and the following weeks.
On 9/11, I was driving to work, and as soon as I got to work, I had the radio on and I heard about it, and I was so nervous because my husband was at the airport. He was ready to leave for the Philippines, and I was supposed to follow him the next day. When as soon as I came into my office, I saw Cindy, and she asked me about if I heard about what happened, and we went straight to watch it on TV, and it was terrible.
The morning of 9/11, I was actually getting ready for work to come to the sheriff's office. And my wife and I were watching the news, and when it popped up, I couldn't hardly believe what was happening. It was kind of crazy. And then it just kind of kept going and going and going. And probably the weirdest feeling I've ever had, I guess. On the way to work, everything had slowed down, the traffic had slowed down, just not a lot of people. You know, I came into the sheriff's office, everybody was glued to the TV. Just watching what was going on in New York, and it's pretty unbelievable.
On 9/11, I was getting ready for work. I learned about it on the news, and I didn't understand what had happened with the plane.
On 9/11, I found out about it on my way to work. I was getting ready to go search on a tip for the body of Kipling Davis. I was shocked, and then as soon as the second one came in, at first I thought it might have been an accident. Obviously, when the second one happened, I knew it was more than that. Devastated, and spent the day in mourning.
When 9/11 happened, I was 5 years old. I remember being at my house. I remember I was with my mom. She was pretty terrified. We went over to my grandma's house. We're watching the news. Even though I don't remember it very much, it was one of the reasons I ended up joining the military later on when I was 18. I know it still affects a lot of people today. Luckily, we live in a great country, and
So when 9/11 hit, I was living in California, and I remember that day. It was a weird day because I remember, you know, it happening in New York and the time difference with California. I was commuting to work, and I have a normal radio show that I listen to in the morning. And I remember when I tuned in, it was just before the second tower was hit. The first tower just got hit, and nobody understood what the heck was going on. And for me, my feeling was like, it almost felt like a TV show or some sort of like War of the Worlds type of, you know, radio broadcast. You can't believe it's real. And it was not until the second plane hit and it was in real time that you realized, whoa, this is going on right now as we're speaking. And it was the took up everybody's day. Everybody was glued on the TV to see what was going on. Nobody knew what was going on, and it's one of those things that I think it's like the Pearl Harbor of World War II for me. That it's one of those things that I always know that I was there when I heard it, and it's still one of those things you just can't believe that could happen here.
On 9/11, I was at work, getting ready to go to work. I came to work and turned the television on. I heard there was something going on. and I saw that one of the towers had been hit by an airplane. And my thoughts went back to, I believe it was July of 1945, when a military B-25 hit the Empire State Building, and I thought there was some sort of a catastrophic accident with a plane involved. And it's about that time that the second tower was hit by a plane, and we realized this was a terrorist attack instead of a military or an accidental plane crash. And at that time, our whole world changed. So I remember it vividly.
On 9/11, I was about 6 years old, and I don't remember. I was so young, and probably my parents and older siblings kind of protected me from what was going on. So I don't remember what happened that day, but it gave me a great appreciation for our military and those serving overseas, and for my family and the safety that I enjoyed, and also for first responders from a young age, seeing people run into the burning buildings. Of course, later on, not that day, but later on I saw how that saved lives and impacted a lot of people.
On 9/11, I was driving truck for Barney Trucking, taking a load of coal to Kennecott. Just come into from Juab County, Utah County line. I was running with a buddy, and I was listening to the CDs, and he says that 2 planes just hit the World Trade Centers in New York.
On 9/11, when the buildings started to fall, I was feeding breakfast in the Utah County Jail in one of our most volatile areas with violent offenders. My initial reaction was I was shocked. We were all shocked. And interestingly, the inmates there, the deputies, the whole unit felt the same way. Patriotism, shock, a little bit of fear. And I spent the rest of the day working in the jail and watching the Pentagon and everything else that happened. And my main memory of it was I couldn't believe it, but also my memory of it was that the offenders and the officers felt the same way. As it's like we were all Americans that day.
On 9/11, I was working, and when I saw the videos on the television, I was devastated.
On 9/11, I was driving dump trucks in Salt Lake City, and I was turning left off of 2700 West onto 4100 South onto the job site, listening to Bob and Tom on the radio, and that's when I heard about it. I got out of the truck, ran over to the excavator operator, and he had it on, and we stood there for an hour, job site shut down, listening to the radio. It was crazy.
On 9/11, I went to work at Mapleton Police Department. When I walked in, the chief was watching the TV, and we just stood there in shock and cried.
On 9/11, I found out what was happening when my sister came running through the door as I was getting ready for work and telling me that one of the towers, a plane had hit. And then I remember turning the news on and watching the second plane hit the tower and just feeling so sad and helpless and wondering what was going on in the world today. And then I ran off to work for Utah County.
I remember I had just dropped off my older kids at school and come home with my little ones, and I turned on the TV and saw what was happening, and my initial feeling was shock, and as the day progressed it was sadness and fear and